My dear students, as we are discussing about different kind of interviews, now we have to discuss one of the very important kind of interview called as a behavioral interviewing. Behavioral interview is a special type of a structured interview, is the behavioral or situational interview, and this is based on a detailed analysis of the skills required to perform the job to be filled. Dear students, each and every job in organizations needs some specific skill sets. An individual must need to be perfect in performing those skill sets so they can achieve effectiveness in their job. And those skill sets need to be determined and need to be judged by using behavioral interviews. And behavioral interviews are also called as situational interviews. Behavioral specification aim to depict the job in terms of how the individual must function in order to perform successfully. So if he want to perform job in a successful manner, obviously he need to perform the job in some particular fashion. And such some special kind of skills are required to perform the job in more effective way. So job performance depends on the skill set. And those skill sets need to be judged during behavioral interviewing. Questions are developed from the definition of required skills, and the skill specification are listed so they can be systematically explored during the interview. So behavioral interviews are quite tricky. You have to list the different kind of skills which need to be judged during the interview, and then you have to explore each and every skill in the interviewee so you can judge that what kind of skills are available in the interviewee and what is the level of that skill set. So two things: one, the counting of the skill set, and second, the level of the skill set, means the expertise of the person in one particular skill set. In behavioral interview, questions should be aimed at specific life history events that give the interviewer insight into how the candidate will perform in the job. So the question should be related to the past, should be related to the current job, and can be related to the future job performance as well. So it would help interviewer to explore the possibility, the probability of the individual's performance in any particular job in the context of the organization. So behavior description says Janz reveals specific choices applicants have made in the past and the circumstances surrounding these choices. So what kind of specific choices individuals made, and what were the context, what was the situation when he was making such kind of choices. So context and the circumstances are very much important in the behavioral interview. The interviewer probes the deals of the situation and what the applicants did in the situation, or what the applicants did the next time that same situation arose. If similar kind of situation arose in the future in that organization, what the applicant would do. So such kind of question need to be asked in the behavioral interviewing. This allows the interviewer to judge how well the applicant performed in the situation and to develop an idea of the applicant's typical behavioral pattern. So if you would ask behavioral kind of question, it would give you an idea that how applicants have a typical behavioral patterns and how those behavioral patterns may affect his or job performance. Behavioral interviews are thus based on the assumption that the past predictor of the future performance is past performance in similar circumstances. So psychologist Dr. Paul Green recommend questions such as, for example, there's a question in the behavioral interview: give me an example of a time when you had to deal with difficult person at work. So each and every individual in the workplace need to deal with a difficult person. In every organization, a difficult person exists. So how you would behave with a person, how you would deal with a difficult person. So that is a very behavioral kind of a question. He is not in the favor of the question that begins with how do you feel about it. Means you don't need to ask about the feelings. What would you do if such kind of things would happen? It is better to ask questions which are related to his past performance, which are related to any special kind of circumstances in which he showed any typical behavior. Green believes that by focusing on skills rather than personality traits, the interview is less likely to produce the candidates. So it is better to focus on a skill set rather than personality traits. While research suggests that behavioral interviews have much greater validity than unstructured interviews. So that's better to use the behavioral interviews because it has a better validity and it are well tested by different organizations. So the expense and the time required for development means that they are not widely used because it is not time effective and it is not cost effective as well. So you have to know that the time and the cost involved in development of the behavioral interviews, and then how would you be able to use in the organization. Arguably, few other methods have been proven to be as effective as behavioral interviewing in signposting performance effectiveness. A number of organizations are using some other methods which can be better to judge the performance effectiveness of an individual. So, what are the methods you are using? You have to judge the job performance effectiveness of an individual who is appearing in the interviewing process.